Okay, so we understand that this one is a friction engine, yes? That in space, to make eternal energy without using any nuclear fusion, without using any stars, without using any solar panels, to make energy, right? So we got this one, which is kind of like a... this can be made in multiple ways, to be honest, with lots of little fibers that when they interact with each other, and this, when you spin something in space, once it gets started, it's going to take a very long time to stop, if ever, because you haven't got any things like wind resistance, you haven't got gravity taking hold of this object because it's in 0G. So this will rotate and rotate and spin and spin and spin and spin. We make this go very fast. Might need a startup power to get it going, but once it's going, it's cool. It winds up in the clockwork. So as this is rotating, it will take half a turn, will pump into the clockwork. Now, because this is so big, it shouldn't slow it down too much in order to wind this up. Once this is wound up using different techniques, or even the power coming off of it to just basically bolt some more energy in there. So, you know, in the electricity grid, some days you're using more energy, some days there's not that much, and then people are using more and not that much. In the times that you're not using that much, send the power into this motor to really get that spinning faster. Now, don't let the concept stop there, because this is just the borderline of where we're going with it. But look, let me just quickly draw this out, and then I'll explain it afterwards. Okay, now, I will make this one a lot nicer later. Now, this one is the same process, but let's imagine that we have multiple of these on stakes, or they don't have to be. You can either use it like this, or you can use like a cup. Yeah? And then the object sits inside here, and then these just sort of sit over it in order just to keep it where you want it.
Keep it in place.
Yeah, exactly. So let's say we have more than just one inside here. And this one has lots of hairs on it, or whatever you want to put on it, that's when they interact with others, they create an awful amount of static. And that's the static that we want. They'll say that if you could use lightning to operate and to take the power of the storm, let's say. Now, if we have lots of these in here rather than just the one, and this one's going to interact with this one's going to spin this way. Yeah?
Yeah.
These ones will spin that way, and these ones will spin this way. So you've got them rotating in the opposite ends, yes?
Yeah.
And they will then smack into each other, as well as the sides, if we have lots of these little, you know, like cat hair, for example, or plastic on a film. If you have lots of pieces of plastic, it doesn't even matter, either or. This stuff causes so much static. And because it's in space, the static will build up within this. And then if we're able to then sort out the static to be able to then, you know, plus minus from it, which you can do, it's quite easy to get the energy from this. This is not out of reach. And if you were to do multiple versions of this, very crudely here, look. But you get the idea, yes? It'll be like this, but multiple, and then this one's going to flick into this one. And because it's like hair material versus a heavy comet. So if we went and collected some of the asteroids from the asteroid belt or the Kuiper belt or wherever we find it, and the Oort cloud that surrounds the star, and let's say we get loads of junk, space junk, rocks, and then we attach this type of stuff to it on here and around the outside of the ship that we may build, or whatever you want to call it, a platform. Whilst these are rotating, and each one is rotating the opposite way to the other one, inside here, number one, you're not going to get the outside now start spinning, because this one could go two ways, where this starts spinning or the outside might start spinning. Either or, it doesn't really matter, it's going to generate something. But you want these to spin really fast, and they'll generate static. And as they generate that static, it needs to discharge, or it's going to build, and it will create a magnetic field. massive magnetic field around it. And this is basically called the friction. How many you want in there? You have as many as you like. If you want to make a really big one, or I would say make lots of little ones inside there, because you don't want the ship to start spinning around. So hold it there, that's fine. If we take this example as a ship, let's say this is a ship. It will travel in this direction. Here are your thrusters here, and inside here you'll have your static. Yes, this is one of these inside here. Now things are starting to make sense. And we'll have a load of them on the outside as well. Not finished yet, but as that rotates, there's a high possibility that the whole thing could end up rotating, if not big enough, because gravity and mass. So this could be one way to do it, as you make your craft and different things like that. Or you have lots of little ones inside here. And this energy should build within this, providing that it's made out of the right material. It will then start to generate this energy. And anything that lands on here or lives in here, number one, is protected from CMEs. It's also protected from interstellar radiation. If you then leave the Oort cloud, yes, the heliopause, we start to enter out of that, let's say, past the Oort cloud, and then you leave the heliopause. Well, other stars' radiation is going to penetrate you, and more so is going to be the black hole's radiation that's going to get you when you leave your heliopause. And I talk from experience, and when you then are in that environment, you're going to need something that generates a large amount of electromagnetic, if you understand that, an electromagnetic field around it, let's say, in order to protect you. And then your ship will then start having their very own northern and southern lights on it, your borealis. And which kind of reminds me of my nan every time I say it. Never met her, but still, you know, I will one day. And then when you got this in your ship, and you have then got eternal power forever. When we go and land this on the ground here on a, gravity's going to take effect on it, and it won't work. But it will work in space because you're not earthed, as to be precise. So therefore, as the electromagnetic field, although we can't see it, isn't just at the north and south. It's all the way around the whole entire planet. It's here now. There are spots that are more powerful than other areas. And never mind tapping into the Earths, because that's just cheating. While we're here on Earth, you want to be taking that as a hypocrite. You want to love it for now, and it's been good to you, but to stay here and keep going through this control bullshit that we are all going through, and competition with your neighbours, and I've got. This is going to get us nowhere but extinction. Then in here, it's a sterile environment. You can lift your whole entire nation up. Your energy comes as soon as you land on the ship. You are not losing any energy. You don't have to stop and refuel this engine, because once it starts, it's going to keep going. And why do I know that? Well, if you look at all of the stars, if you look at all of the planets, if you look at all of them, what are they doing? What are they all doing constantly? They're spinning. They are all continuously spinning. Why? Well, because that's the most naturalist thing to do. Spin. Rotate and spin. So I'm pretty sure these are going to keep spinning. Once it gets started, it'll slow down, but no way near in our lifetimes. And when we need to charge it back up, we're generating so much more power. When you invert that and amplify it, you'll use it for your day-to-day needs. So if we start to make technologies that are at an equal electricity current, as soon as you land on it, it always gives that current. Your ships go off and scout using fuel that you suck in from a nearby planet. There's another way of travelling through space without using copious amounts of energy. The one rule, the golden rule of the universe and travelling and intraversing through the stars, let's say, and being stellar beings, is that you do not want to throw away your dead. You do not want to throw away your waste. You do not want to throw things away because you start to lose your mass. You start to lose. What you want to do is recycle everything. And when you're in this recycling process, you're very good. Next thing is, if you're going to take your scout ships off of here that fly out, you're not going to want to use ion drives. You're not going to want to use black holes. You're not going to want to use gas. You're not going to want to use protons. You're not going to want to use solar panels or fuel or petrol, because you'll have a limit. And once it's all gone, it is gone. So, you know, and then you've wasted it. That's not how we should be. On Earth, it will confuse the shit out of you to stay that way because it works on Earth. But in space, it's a different set of rules altogether and semantics. So what you want, instead of using up all of your fuel, I'm just going to lay this bad boy down, because it's very heavy. Very heavy. All right. There we go. What you want is something that is, this is your ship, and this is your piece of mass. Yes? Yeah. That is attached via a chain. So that when the ship throws this, you will move this way. When it runs on the force of the throwing versus that tugging back will keep you moving. And then it winds back in, and then you throw it again, getting faster. Throw it again, wind it in. Throw it in, getting faster. And slowly but surely, without ever using any fuel, you'll be able to then reach the speed of light if you kept doing this, given enough time. And you won't use any fuel. You won't lose nothing. You'll be very cleverly reusing your energy. Throw it, reel it in, and each time you throw it, it will cause a force equal to, and you'll think, well, this runs away and it will pull it. Yes, but because it's smaller, and it was the force that threw it, is smaller, when that goes to tug, yes, it will slow you down, but not much. You'll still keep moving. Dush. And if you want to slow down, have one on the other side. You start throwing it into the movement. And then that will catch up and keep throwing it. And eventually this will slow you down. And that is without using any fuel. And because you're throwing something, it will slowly slow you down. So you ain't got to worry about your organs being thrown out, the inertia effect. You haven't got to worry about it because this slows you down so gently. And it gets you up to a nice speed slowly. But if you're extraterrestrial beings, the one thing you've got is frickin' time. You have got time. Why? You're not outrunning extinctions from your stars. You're not outrunning extinction from your planets. You're not outrunning extinctions from meteorites. Surely you'll come across some. I'm pretty sure you will. But, you know, that's another dealing with that. When it comes to it, that's another side of it. You could hit into something and that could cause some pretty damn big damage. So you might want to move forwards with a piece of lumpy stuff on the front to probably take those impacts. But at the same time, if you've generated such a magnetic field and you know that perhaps there's a way to, like a magnet, repel objects versus one is going to be north, one is going to be south. You're bound to pick it up. And if you had a device in front that was able to read that very quickly and transmit some of this electromagnetic energy and control it and concentrate north when you're coming towards a meteorite that is, let's say, metal, you can repel it. Or you can attract it if you want it. Oh, that's a good bit of metal. Yeah, we'll have that. And you should be able to bubble this using the magnetic field. 100% sure how all of this works and fits together. I'm here to give you the energy side of it first. This will generate a large amount of friction, and the friction then will generate a lot of energy. And you know, the faster you go with these, you're not going to rotate your ships. You don't need, you know, it's just you don't need to burn out your fuels or anything else. This gets you in space. This gets you out and about. This gets you thinking. That's why I'm here to get you thinking. But yeah, so I just wanted to strike while the iron was hot and get this one out with it, where you can use multiple versions of this. Think car wash and the blade things that are on that. Feather duster. Cat fur, when they get agitated, they generate that field. When you take plastic, you could even screw up massive lumps of plastic and do the same thing with it. Ultrafilm is another thing that you can call it. This stuff, even when you try to pull it off the reel, there are massive sparks, and the machine has to take those and discharge it and earth it. It just gets wasted. This concept has been here for a very long time, but humans are too busy looking at each other to even stop to pay attention to where you're headed. And I think that there are so many groups in the world that are just trying to take over. They're so short-sighted that they can't even see past their own pig-ignorant existence, is what they're doing. They're too busy trying to grab the power to lead, but none of them ain't got a clue of where they're going, how we're going with your population and different things like that. This is huge. To build this can be quite easy. It's very easy. Going and getting some CERN and making a magnetic field like that, that's wasting time, wasting money, wasting resources that you really don't have. And that's resting on your marrow bones, that is. That's cheating. That's not going to serve you a purpose. How are you going to function that fuel and run that for eternity? Now, I've come very close. I've made multiple different versions of coal. So there is other alternates in this. And, making coal, and there is also a way to make gas, and there is also a way to make petrol from this type of substances and different things like that. And it is very easily achievable, this, but it comes with a balance, a slight balance to it, that you need to have a smaller amount, do you get what I mean, of a population that can't expand past a certain limit. This one means that you're limitless. You just need to capture more resources, more this, more that, more everything, and then you're well away. But to play this barren, mayor, double standards way of existence ain't going to get this. Trying to steal leadership and steal ideas off of people ain't going to get you this. Yeah, you may build this, but there are a lot that I haven't told you. And this is just merely snippets. And just basically dangling testers right before your very eyes. You steal from me, and it's going to be the worst thing that you have ever experienced, because you will fuck up. Why? Because you'll get to here and you'll melt down. Because the mines are not there. You just haven't got it. So it will be a complete failure, right? Because of this type of, this has got to stop in order for this to unlock. I'm just dangling these treats right in front of you, and you steal from me, and I'm warning you. That is going to be it. You do not get another chance at this. This is your final chance. So I give that a warning to you, Sky TV, Sky Television, that you've taken my concepts. You owe me in copyright. 20 grand, you stick it into one of my bank accounts, and then we'll call it quits. And I mean, that's a small amount. That's a drop in the puddle for you guys. If you don't steal from me. Osiris's concepts were not to be stolen, and the Eco Dryer was not to be stolen. No matter what you feel I should or shouldn't be doing with that, there is a reason why. Did you ever hear that God said to do not eat certain fruits? There was a reason for this. These be my fruits, and I have warned you not to touch them. And you have gone ahead and done it. You can play with that as much as you want, but I warn you that it will melt you down. And not just you, but everybody on the entire planet. What happened to supporting one another? What happened to being there for one another? And why is it people with money steal from people with ideas? Mine's as empty as the days you were born, because you don't know how to think. All you know how to do is steal. And this is what has cost you, humans, the problems that you face today. This is it. You're stealing from your people. That is not acceptable.
And you don't understand what you are stealing.
Exactly. And this is just one step. And you can't see the rest because you didn't come up with this. You don't see it. You just see your own selfish greed. That is it. And you will never go past that until you all learn to grow. Grow beyond your selfishness. Grow beyond this stealing and temptation. It's very important why it's there, and humans have had this. Now, whether you believe a Bible was written by God, I've got to understand something here and help you understand something. How do you not know that it wasn't God's hands among the heads of the individuals that sat down to write this? They were going to do it as a control way. But how do you not know that that wasn't the purpose? Was that you had some divine hands upon your heads, influencing you. After all, we all have heavy atoms in us. One particular heavy atom that is made up of these molecules. One is your God. One is for you to create yourself. This one I will leave you to ponder. You're so clever, you know everything. Humans know absolutely everything, apparently. You don't. You just know stealing and bullshit and lies. And they say that in your education system, they want you to tell the truth. So if you wanted everybody to tell the truth, why is it people that go to private schools then in this country join up to the Masons and then hide secrets and then claim that they're not hiding secrets? Why is it then governments don't tell the truth? They hide all of the truth. Why do you hide that? Whether you believe the Bible, Jesus and everything else, how do you not know the divine hands were not resting upon your heads and the heads of the individuals that sat down to write that? Based upon this, that influenced yourself. Based upon this. And this is your heavy atom, by the way. Inside your heavy atom. Your heavy atom that is made up of 3 inside. I love the number 3. Love it. But inside this, when you cut it open and have a look, this is what you'll see. One of them is your God, piece of God, if you like, piece of the universe, piece of source energy that said that I will give you a piece of me in order to create your own identity, yourself, within it. So how do you not know that this influence didn't influence you to write this stuff? There will be no influencing done that if you want to steal and melt your whole species down, because at the end of the day it will be humans that will fuck it up for themselves, and when they do, they have got no one to blame but themselves. Yeah. Now we can carry on going this way and you will demise and become extinct. Not very long. You can take these ideas and you can do that, or you can get behind somebody and you can walk behind or with, shoulder to shoulder, not behind. I always look at it that when someone pulls you or pushes you above them, you then pull them and put them above you. And then they then do the same with you, bring you forwards, and then you pull them. So, first off, they push you above them. Then you take them and push them above you. And then you take them. See my DNA pattern starting to appear by any chance? Then you pull them and push them above you. And then they take you and push them. That's the way I see the world going. That's the way I operate from this semantic. No one above each other. Because at the end of the day, it makes you equal. 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 Can't do it without you, can't do it without me. I am you, you are me. This type of a push you to go forwards and then you'll pull me forwards. And then I will pull you forwards. This is called momentum. This is expansion in a way that becomes synchronized in a way that one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. This is how you move forward and build things up. Leaders that put their people first, and then the people pull the leaders and push them. And then the leaders pull the people pull the leaders. This is my principle. Yeah. If you don't follow this and play this with me, then you will melt. And just by me giving you this does not mean that I've given you the whole secrets of the frickin' universe at all. It means that I've given you a random small envelope snapshot of what could be. But I am expecting this. I don't see this, and I guarantee you will collapse down. And then you will only have yourselves to blame, and there will be no more divine light ever enter this planet and ever come and help the human race ever again. Never. That will be it. The door will be closed and you will face extinctions very quickly. The whole species across the board, friends, families, and strangers all alike. You've got your family here, you've got the, yes, and to carry on living like we are right now, with this stealership and not leadership. To carry on going like this is not a world that I foresee for anybody. And if people knew the truth, they wouldn't either. So, life be precious. 3 types of eternal life that I can configure so far, that you have within your grasp. But it ain't going to come from stealing. It's going to come from this. And you may have fancy technology, like such as a nice rear projection on a screen, a glass screen. It's nothing. It is literally nothing. You may build this, but it is nothing. What are you going to do when the universe starts to wind down? Figure it out yourselves, or do you think you'll reach the stagnation that humanity has reached already? That was the first thing I came out and said, that we're stagnated. A whole society has stagnated. Now, you didn't come to this on your own. It took someone to tell you it. And you listened to that slightly. I gave you an inch and you ran off a mile, but you're hitting a wall. You will not get these opportunities again. Mark my words. So, there's a part and parcel of what I can bring through and bring into this world. And whether you say, oh, it's being big-headed and that's I don't care what you say from your human perspective to another human. You've never raised up. You stole your way to the top, not actually been voted in. Have you king, queen, royal families, barons, mayors? You got voted in by your corrupt other friends. You haven't been voted in. Well, we'll see. The more we go, and the more it activates, the more I'll give. The moment you stop, I stop. And I can assure you, I've heard some quotes like the devil and a different thing. The devil will not give you this. The devil will not help you. Why do you think humanity's melting down? What would you call that?
Not helping each other.
That's it for me for now. I have things to do.